Hi, everybody, and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine. I've got Scott Gibbs, international Welsh legend. I'm Kevin Ferguson, a.k.a. the Money Man. Name I've never liked, but it's kind of stuck. I suppose when you make so much money at gambling, it has to. Scotty, we're going to chat about...
Something different.
Something different. There is some rugby connections in our conversations. But basically, we're going to talk about Louis Rees-Zammit.
Rees-Lightning.
Rees-Lightning.
Yeah.
And I think from rugby audience point of view, it's an interesting discussion because when you look at him giving up his career with Wales, at 23 years of age, the rugby world in front of him.
The keys to the kingdom.
Keys to the kingdom. To give it up, to go and fulfill a dream to play NFL football. Which is, you've got to respect the man for doing that because that's his dream. And who doesn't want to follow their dreams?
Hey, dream big, Kev.
Well, that dream is not big. It's super massive, as they would say in Wales. It's huge. Yeah. Now, the chances of any player, any athlete in high school in America, and you look at towns closed down in Texas and various other states when there's a high school football game on Friday. So the chances of any one of those guys that play at a high school level in America that are good athletes, big athletes, is 0.023% of making an NFL roster. So you've got a small lad, the heart of a lion, who has given it all up on an improbable, I won't say impossible, an improbable chance of making an NFL team. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when it was announced, it came as a shock to many, I think, in the rugby community. Yeah. Given his ascension through his club performances with Gloucester and through Wales and debuting with the Lions here in South Africa, with such a positive career pathway ahead of him. Yeah. As we say, the keys to the kingdom. Yeah. To give it up and pursue his lifelong dream, for many, was a huge risk. But I think he backed his talent and his conviction and also his dream. And you cannot crush that. And I applaud him immensely for that decision. There was obviously method in his madness, in the context that he was identified as one of the players that could participate in an international player program that's sponsored by the NFL.
The PPP, the Player Pathway Program. Yeah. Expanding the NFL, building their fan base. Yeah.
And they cherry pick athletes from all sorts of sports that they think can materially have an effect on the overall player pool. So it's a fast track for great athletes, and then there's no doubt that he's an inimitable athlete in that sense. So he's blessed with the right raw materials to take that on. Yeah. I think it was a 10, 12-week program, and thereafter there was like a mini combine where you show off your various skills and such, where he impressed the likes of the Cleveland Browns and New York Jets and the Denver Broncos, and clearly then someone at the Chiefs understood that this could be a valuable asset to us, given some of the changes in the NFL rules, predominantly from the kickoff.
Yeah. Now, if I was a fan watching this game, I would say, what do you two retards know about NFL football? And so just to clarify, it's a great question.
It's a great question. And let me preface as well. You may have played a few snaps in your high school.
I played every snap.
There we go. I've never taken a snap. Yeah. That said, I got engrossed and lent in during the 1983 Elway Marino draft. Okay. So since then, I've been an avid follower.
Ironically enough, Scott, just sorry to cut you off. I know that Zellum didn't make our roster today, though he's probably the most knowledgeable guy I've ever met in NFL. So we will have to drag him on the show at least once or twice on our NFL talks. In 1983, I was 16, and I read a newspaper article on a player, a rookie of the year sensation, Joe Delaney, that was playing with the Chiefs, who gave his life to save two children as they were drowning. Yeah. He saved both the children. He died. I was so touched by that story that there was no other team for me other than the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm not one of these fair weather Johnsons that have jumped onto the bandwagon since the Chiefs have become good. I've suffered with the Chiefs for many, many years. Too many. So it's ironic that your starting point was 83, my starting point was 83. Yeah. And over the 14 odd years that I've known you, one of the main topics that we discuss
on a weekly basis
is NFL football.
Yeah. And I was going to preface that from a broadcasting perspective globally, obviously there's a lot of eyeballs that enjoy and watch the NFL's coverage, whether that be through CBS, Fox, NFL Network itself, ESPN, and or Amazon, whoever produces the live footage. But there's, as you know, thousands and thousands of...
It's DAZN now.
DAZN as well. Yeah. Thousands of reporters, people providing insight, panels, color commentary, former NFL alumni,
beautiful dancing girls.
So there's a ton of information out there.
Yeah.
But predominantly, I would say 90% of those guys who offer an opinion, like me, never played football at high school, never taken a snap. Yeah. Obviously, I have a rugby background, athletic background in that sense.
I've heard something to that degree.
Yeah. You could whisper that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
What are you saying, Scott?
I'd like to think we know a little bit about what we're talking.
Yeah, we're not full retards.
We haven't gone full retard.
As in Tropic Thunder. We haven't gone full retard. No one wins an award for that.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
What do you mean?
You went full retard, man.
Yeah. So what are the chances? And to me, this would be his greatest sporting achievement. If he
to make the roster.
Yeah. To make a 53-man roster in the NFL. And there is some argument that he could. I know that the what do you make of his preseason, his games? Yeah.
Well, from the outside, everyone was looking at, well, where is this guy going to fit into a roster? Is he going to play running back, tailback, fullback, or there's some wide receiver? Yeah. The fact is that special teams where he will be involved from the kickoff as a kind of, a punt gunner, as they call them, punt chaser.
A gunner.
Yeah. He's been, he's taken the ball from the kickoff on several occasions, and has returned the ball healthily in comparison to the rest of the depth chart.
Yeah.
There's not much, the numbers are not stark against him.
No.
That said, when you think like an average high school football player would play 15, 20 games a year for 8, 9 years, you play college football for 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
At 16, 18 games a year.
Yeah.
That's 10,000 hours. So
every single day practice for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That is the way it is.
So clearly his rugby knowledge is starting from a zero base. But the fact is that he's very open-minded about what this journey can look like and is looking like, because he's living it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Surrounded by great people.
Yeah.
And what we have to understand is that the NFL is a business. It is run as a business. NFL stands for not for long. So, the average career in the NFL is less than 3 years.
Yeah.
Across all the positions.
Yeah, when you look at that,
and when you look at,
sorry, Scott, for interrupting.
Yeah, so when you look at like an 80-man roster now cut down to 53, there's 300 supreme athletes.
Yeah.
Just disappear into the ether. Some are held on practice squads or on reserve squads or whatever. So there's an abundance of talent in the coming weeks that is still up there for teams to.
Yeah. I wish him well. I hope he makes the team. And the things he's got going for him is that the depth of a roster, if you can have someone like a Rees-Zammit on your squad that can fill multi-roles. Because I see him as a decent jack of all trades, but a master of none right now, because he's still at 23 on a very steep learning curve.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't think he will make the roster. I think he'll end up on the practice squad. And
I think that's where the smart money is saying. I think there's still a slim chance, and I say that because they lost against the Bears in their final preseason game last night. So where we stand now is that Zammit is fourth on the depth chart of coded roster running backs, alongside Keontae Ingram, Imani Bailey performed well on the weekend in the last couple of games. Ahead of them is a guy called Deneric Prince. Read this morning from some of the Chiefs' intelligentsia that he blew out on the weekend. Low levels of production, 4 carries, minus 2 yards type of thing. So I think, given this steep learning curve, his contribution and his work rate so far has been commendable, absolutely commendable. And I think there's a lot of Chiefs fans that are excited about his future journey. And there's obviously the critics that say that he's a little bit rigid and timid when it comes to carrying the football. From a power-based perspective, because we know he has elusive top-end speed. But that's not always what the football is, Because whether you're on the O-line or the D-line, the offensive line or the defensive line, you got big guys. I mean, 350, 400-pounders. That can run the 40.
Yeah. No,
in under 5 seconds.
When you look at the players, Scott, on any NFL team, I think unless you've actually seen them, and when I was younger, we used to run onto the field when they were allowed, and these guys, you're talking massive, massive gentlemen, or not gentlemen. It is, and a lot of people, a lot of South Africans and a lot of people who played rugby and grown up watching rugby, they refer to it as a game for pussies, wearing pads, they do this, they wear helmets. I tell you now, we'll show you now some of the top hits in the NFL. This is a man's game, and I'm not comparing it to rugby.
No. I think one of the greatest examples from a Chief history perspective, we look at Christian Okoye, the Nigerian nightmare. You see that guy run, and the destructive power of a fullback, running back. And that is what the game is all about. The NFL is there is no room for error and mistakes. That's when you get cut.
It's an explosive game. It's always explosive.
And you often hear, if you're an NFL fan, do your job. Do your job.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think that, and in fairness to football players, the ones that I grew up with, when they watched rugby, they would just go, not a fuck. No. They would just be like, no, I'm not that crazy. Because there's a mutual respect for both sports from both sets of athletes.
Yeah. And listen, when I mention football, like I talk about football in our rugby broadcasts, rugby football. When I say football, I mean the NFL. I refer to Premier League as soccer. So football to me means a lot. It was part of my growing up.
Well, our RFC, Rugby Football Club. Yeah. I mean, it was always part. So I commend the man, the young lad. I wish him nothing but the best in his career. I think for him, he does have an outside shot of making the 53.
But it's likely that he will be on the practice squad, or he goes on waivers, which is where he could be traded, because there would be enough interest, I would dare say, that other teams will be kind of looking at the kickoff changes and special team contribution, that there's a chance he could be traded. But I think that the 3-year signing with some guaranteed money and and a decent salary is that they're gonna it'll be a passion project for the Chiefs, and Dave Tobe, who's a special teams kind of coordinator. So,
well, there's one word I have for you. I agree with you. There's one word I have for you. It's called attrition. Yeah. And in the NFL, the injuries come in boatloads.
Yeah, and that's why I say, I go back to my early rugby career when I signed for Neath. I was 5th or 6th on the depth chart, but persistence, perseverance, perspiration, through luck, opportunity, injury, things happen. Yeah. And suddenly you debut and you never look back. So I'm with you. I think there's still a slim chance, and I will wish him all the best on this journey. And if it ends because he's not on the 53-man roster and stays on the practice squad where he can sharpen his skills as a route runner, as a gunner, and such, and maybe pack on a few kgs, get a little bit more powerful, while he's sharpening his tools, honing his craft, then fantastic.
Well, as you know, sports and most things in life are all about confidence. And to gain that confidence, because when you look at NFL hits and these guys, I mean, it's a crazy game. Yeah. If people give the NFL to watch, it's a great spectacle. And it's the most bet-on sport, I think, in the world.
Yeah. I think where a lot of people are misguided, or I just don't understand it, and it just looks, it's too stop-start for me. Where I'm the opposite, because I love the tension and the theater of controlling the possession, controlling the clock. Key metrics in football success. Yeah. And that's why I love that.
And it's not too complicated for South Africans, because one, they're a knowledgeable rugby nation. Yeah. You know, they know rugby. NFL football is not as complicated as rugby.
No.
And two, they're a cricketing nation. So to be able to appreciate the strategies and the build-up, I think that it's something that's not beyond them. And look, we're not going to be doing an NFL show every day, and this is a rugby NFL.
Yeah. Now I know when we started the show, we were talking about Zammit, but you want to talk about Patrick Mahomes, obviously.
I don't like him.
You don't like him, no?
Nope. He's a great quarterback, and he's given the franchise unprecedented success. They're arguably a dynasty, but he's not my quarterback. I mean, look, he's a unbelievable athlete, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he's just not my quarterback. I kind of cringe.
Are you a Len Dawson type of guy?
I'm a Dan Marino, Dan Fouts. You know, I'm just meat and potatoes.
Yeah, you're old school, man.
I'm old school. Yeah, I'm old.
So you don't like the flash. You don't like.
I don't like the Taylor Swift. I don't like the.
Yeah.
It's though I'm a Swiftie if she makes.
If she comes to South Africa.
No, I think that Kelsey did play better. He's the tight end of the Chiefs. Did play better when she was in attendance. So attend more games. Well, you know, but
well, I mean, Kelsey's record for the last 10 years. I mean, 1,000-round rushing
Hall
receiving
of Fame.
is
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for a first ballot Hall of Fame, not a problem.
Yeah. But
I wonder whether this year that as he hit the ceiling,
No.
is the cliff approaching? No, you don't see it.
No, don't see it.
Yeah. And my prediction is that I think Mahomes might just have an off-color type of year. I don't know. I think there's so much going on with his life, and
well, I've never seen anybody do more commercials than that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly like them. I mean, but look.
I have to say, I loved Alex Smith as quarterback for the Chiefs. Mahomes was drafted as a backup to Alex Smith, and I think learned an enormous amount about the position under him, and of course shot the lights out over the last couple of years. And I don't think, in NFL terms, this year, the only quarterback that troubles Mahomes is the Bengals' Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Yeah, Joe Cool.
Look,
he's 3-1. He's 3-0 in the regular season.
Yeah.
He's the only one that's been able to trouble Mahomes or really challenge Mahomes.
And they also knocked the Chiefs out in the playoffs final.
That was in 22.
Yeah.
They beat them in overtime, 27-24.
So the Chiefs were knocked out by the Bengals.
Yes.
So go fuck yourself.
Yeah. No, but so what I'm saying in regular season.
Look, but the Bengals have troubled them in the playoffs as well.
Yes.
But look.
Yeah, you might have to tidy that one up. Yeah.
Look, I think that the Bengals are not only Joe Burrows, but the Bengals are a tough team for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Statistically and results driven. But let's just get back. Let's wish Louis Rees-Zammit, sorry. Yeah. Let's wish the young lad all the best for this weekend. let's hope that
Absolutely. Let's hope fate plays a hand and they take a chance, because I think there's been a level of production that they'd be content with, and I think as a Chiefs organization, I think the optics work well.
I think they do as well. And just to reiterate, him not making the 53-man squad is not a failure.
It's not a failure.
By a long way.
No way, no.
No. So we're just bringing a bit of perspective and reality to it. We wish that the young man all the success in the world, and I believe that if he stays on the practice roster, he will play. He'll make the 53-man squad.
100%. Yeah.
So, Louis, all the best for you, and to Welsh fans out there, don't be disappointed.
And as lifelong Chief supporter, I'd love to go to Arrowhead. That would be a bucket list item for.
Which is not in Kansas City. You told me that.
I know. You understand? It's in Missouri.
Yeah, I was blown away by that.
99% of Americans probably. But Kansas City Chiefs, not in Kansas City? No. Well, it's in Missouri, folks.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Scott. You learn something every day. And good luck to the young man. And let's have a good weekend. And we'll do another show
Fingers
next
crossed
week.
for him.
Yeah. All the best. Cheers.